All right, it's a new day. It's a new day, people. Look at the sky. Look how peaceful it is out here. If you don't have peace in your home, I feel sorry for you. The Bible says to mark the perfect man. The Bible says mark the perfect man, for the end of that man is peace. And if somebody's trying to steal your peace, they need to go on down the road, because if anybody is trying to steal your peace, then you know the jig is up. If anybody's trying to destabilize you, the jig is up. It don't matter what it is. It's only a few things. It can only be a few things. So anyway, for the born again saints, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. Any Jezebel spirit, you know they're creating chaos and drama and trouble. Revelation chapter 2 says no tolerance for the Jezebel spirit. David in the Bible said, I won't have a liar in my face, and I won't have a liar in my house. And I don't care who it is. You know, I went and bought some weights today at Walmart, lifting weights. I do jogging. I ride a bike, lifting weights, medical stuff. I'm on vacation this week. I'm going to go to the doctor again to get another checkup and make sure I wasn't poisoned. And they checked my vitamins. They checked everything. Everything was clear. You can't let anybody who's crazy into your world. I don't care if it's your sister, your brother, your mama, your daddy. You've got to have a line of demarcation. And I know it's hard. But I started the process a long time ago. I started the process 20, 30 years ago, where I started seeing these people were not on my team, even if they were bloodline. So I started building a life. I ended up marrying a narcissist, a Pentecostal cult narcissist, and I had to get rid of that. Then I ended up marrying another narcissist. This is before we knew what narcissism was, but this second one was crazy. She was crazier than the one I just got involved with. And so these narcissists are master manipulators. And I'm not talking about just women, because the born again women that I talk to, my network of people, the born again women that I've talked to, they were hooked up with the narcissistic men. Now, some of them admit they were in the world, they learned their lesson. Before we get saved and get serious, we all make mistakes. But you should be growing. Over time, you should be growing and growing and growing. And so, it looks to me like a piece of Band-Aid on my hand. It looks to me like people are stagnating. You should, if you're saved, you should be growing like this. If God steps in, you're going to grow like this, exponential growth, But I promise you, we're in a warfare, and we're in a warfare with the dark realm. And like I said, with this light, see how it's dark? And people go to the dark side, and notice the light gets rid of the dark instantly. Dark side, light. Who wins? The light. I want everybody out there to know I'm not alone. I'm not alone. If you think I'm by myself, you're delusional. There's a church right up the block here. I went to church there. I know the pastor up there. I know these people. I know these people, even though they're Jezebels. I still could get their help if I needed them. Right next door to me, I know these people. I helped this guy. I haven't talked to these people yet. I got people at work I work with. I got renters. I got family here. If I needed them, I could call them. If worst case scenario, I would rather not, but at worst case scenario, I could. I'm not playing a game. Revelation 2 says 0 tolerance for Jezebel. I don't know what their motives are, these flesh creatures who like to scheme and do spells and spellcraft and all that. From what I've actually been studying some other channels, some other stuff, just to learn their terminology and learn what's going on. So evidently the unsaved, they vampire off. If you're saved, they vampire off of your blessing. Okay, here's what's going on. I meditate on this for 30 years, and here in the last 3 months, I've really been studying and meditating on it. The unsaved hate you, but they need you because they're dead in trespass sins. So they're spiritually vampiring off of you. They want to have like a spiritual connection. And when you cut the ties with one of them, it's like they're dying. And when you say, I'm leaving, I'm done, it's over, finished, they're screaming out, don't leave, don't go, don't go. The demon in them is feeding off of you. Because think about a demon. A demon was cast out of heaven back to hell. Not, you know what I mean? Hell on earth, they were cast down out of heaven, so it's like hell on earth to them because they knew what it was like to be in heaven and they're separated from that. So it's almost like hell right now. So they have to take people captive, humans captive, right? To experience any kind of love, right? So you got this unsaved person who's like a zombie, and you got a demon that knew what it felt to feel God's love, and so they want to jump into that person and connect with you on a human-to-human level to try to experience that love. And this is what happened with the narcissist. The narcissist will connect with you. You might marry one of them. You might be in a relationship. But the demon is in there hiding. So you're having sex with a narcissist demon in there. So the demon in there, you're having sex with a demon because that person has a demon. And that demon's connected to the hive mind. So if you're married to a narcissist, you're actually sleeping with the enemy. That's why the Bible says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. And so they say they love you, but because they're in the flesh, they don't really love you. They just want to feel that love. And they actually hate you because they know if you knew who they really were in there, that you wouldn't hate them, not hate them, but you would just run like you would run like you're dealing with a monster, They know that if you knew the monster that they are, you would run. You would be like repelled, like you're looking at a monster. They know they're monsters, but they're wanting to feel that love, and the demon in them wants to connect back to God through you. And so you're dealing with a spirit, and then if the demon connects back to God through you, they get mad. This is why they flip out. They get mad and they go crazy because they're trying to show love, but they're inverted and they can only show hate. And so sometimes, like if you're at the restaurant and you're just having a conversation and you're stoic, you're calm, cool, collective, and they want to get you emotional, right? The demon in them, somebody put those things on. The demon in them, that's going to be terrible to live by that. I'm going to have to call police and say, they need to take that down. But it might be a good security thing. But anyway, what was I saying? This is new. Look at this. Watch when this car goes by. It didn't work that time. So you're married to a narcissist. You're actually having sex with a demon in them. They want to show love, but they know that they're controlled by the entity. And so they, instead of showing love, they show hate and disgust and contempt and hatred for you. And they can't love you because they're a demon. But they want to experience God's love because the demon was kicked out of heaven. And so they remiss that. And this is the whole thing about the secret societies. They're trying to get back to heaven through the back door. I'll talk about it some more. It's just so frustrating because I know what I'm talking about because I meditate on this for 30 years and I'm not able to say it right, but let me try to give it to you in the easiest way I can. You got an empty vessel that looks at mankind like a tree. They don't see the soul. You got an empty vessel. They don't see you as a person. They see you as an extension of themselves. It's just an entity. They look at you like a tree or a pole or something. They have no life unless you're in it. And so, because they're empty, the devil can get in there and take them over. And so they're trying to show love through the world. They only can show love through, they don't really have real love. They might have stuff, but you try to sit down and just have a conversation and you sit here and just say, we don't really need to go anywhere. We don't do this. Let's just talk. They can't do that. Because as soon as they start talking, the demon kicks in and they get offended. Vulnerability and pride. Pride, vulnerability. When the pride kicks in, that's the devil. When the vulnerable side kicks in, that's the empty shell. And so you're dealing with a zombie that's demon possessed, and they want you as an image. They don't see you as a human. They see you to hold their image up. Yeah, he works for me. Yeah, I'm married to him. Yeah, he's got a nice haircut. Look at his shoes, and look at his. I mean, I don't care what I wear. Like right here, I cut these. These are like pajamas, and to make me some shorts for summer, I just cut them off with a knife, with a pair of scissors. I don't care what I wear. You think I care You think I care about hours? I care about the heart. It's all about the heart, people. But the reason they don't grasp that concept is because they're not even real. I got a sister in Christ. She's in another country, and I talked to her last week or 2 weeks ago or something. We were talking about this, and she agrees. They're not even real people. They're just running on the program. Their mama, as the mother, so is the daughter. They're just doing what their mother did. They're doing what their family line did. They're doing what the TV tells them. They're doing what TikTok tells them. Or they're just doing a program. And I'm telling the truth because half the stuff the Democrats believe, you'd have to be out of your mind to believe that stuff. Just like abortion, you'd have to be out of your mind to think that killing a baby is normal. And I remember before I got saved, the girl my first girlfriend, I thought, I wasn't saved, and I thought she might be pregnant, and we drove up to the abortion clinic. I wasn't saved, and then she wasn't pregnant. She came out and said, no, I'm not pregnant. I think back then it was like $300 to do it, and I was like, I had the $300, and thank God she wasn't pregnant, but I was still guilty of murder because I was willing to do it. I was guilty of murder because it was in my heart to kill that baby, but I wasn't saved. I didn't know any better. And so that's what I'm talking about. I didn't know what I was doing before I got saved. I didn't even know what I was doing. So these people don't even know what they're doing. And so when you abandon them because of their insanity and their abuse and their toxic behavior, they go crazy. But when you abandon them, it's because they pushed you away. And you find out they married to somebody else or they're dating somebody else and they were hiding that the whole time. And you're like, you really expect me to go put up with this? Have you lost your ever living mind? And they'll come up with some lie and excuse and justification. They come up with this major big story. Well, the reason I lied is because I knew, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, I'm done. And you know what I'm talking about. But these people are crazy. And the reason they can target you is because the demon that's in them was in that other narcissist or that narcissist 20 years ago, because the demons don't age. So when you were 20 before you got saved, that demon saw your propensities, and so that demon jumps on somebody else 20 years later, or your spouse, and they're playing the same games. And then when you set boundaries and say, why are you crazy? Why are you insane? Why are you losing your cool? Why don't you want to just sit down and have a conversation and find some peace? Because they can't. It's a demon. Y'all think I'm joking. This is not a joke. And they got to impress people. I'm kind of glad this house here is nothing fancy. Because I could have been deceived by some narcissistic Jezebel, and I'd have been yoked up again with another demon. That's what I'm saying. They love the big houses. They love the big jobs. They love the corporate dead system. The reason they can rise up in the corporate system, because the corporate system is an indoctrination tool to the hive mind. The corporations are run by demonic forces, archons, and cosmic creators. The spiritual principalities are running these corporations. And that's why they rise up to become CEOs, because the narcissistic psychopaths run the world. And they want you to be a copy of them. We're trying to get them to trust Jesus, and they're trying to get you to deny Jesus and say that you're your own God. And that's why they call you crazy, and they think that you need to be locked up when they're the crazy ones. And then when you withdraw your energy from them, they're just dead. The demon's going to leave them, because when you disconnect, let me get the light going. When you disconnect, the demon leaves them and jumps on somebody across the street. And then that lady comes and tries to talk to you. I've already seen it. Since I disconnected from this, I got 2 or 3 in the neighborhood trying to talk to me. Because the demon in them is what's pulling them to you. And the demon's screaming out of their mouth, don't go, don't leave. It's not them. They're not even there. They've sold their soul to the devil. Just like that male lady. She didn't wave to me for 20 years. And since I disconnected from this other situation, she's all nice, waving. Then you got one walking down the street, she's waving. It's like the demon is leaving this one to jump on another one and playing the same game. And they're going to act the same. This is not a joke. This sounds bizarre. This sounds like the Matrix, because it is. It's a spiritual matrix. And the reason they don't want you to go, because that demon is leaving. When you cut it off, that demon has no reason to be in there. Because the only reason the demon was in there is to attack you and try to vampire off of you. And so when that demon leaves and there's no Christians that they in their circle, then they're just going into more drugs and drinking, because they're zombies. This is not a joke, people. This is not a joke. It took me a long time to see it. The demons miss God's love. But when the demon jumps on somebody and then they try to experience that love because they're anti, it turns into yelling and fighting and Jerry Springer and arguing. And they could be like the top CEO. Let's say some woman's married to a CEO of a company who makes a lot of money, but he turns into a demon because he's not saved. And she's over here saying, what's wrong with you? And he has to keep his image before the world. And she's over there under narcissistic abuse, under control, because the demon wants to control you, because the demon wants to experience God's love, but it can't, because it's anti. The spirit mind is counterintuitive to the flesh mind. So the demon in them starts to be a tyrant like the Pharaoh and like Jezebel. They want to control you because they think they're gods. And so these demons will leave this, when you cut it off with somebody, they know that demons, that spirit's in that person was the same spirit that was in your first wife or your first girlfriend or your family. That same familiar spirit was in your family. And that's why you fell in love. You thought you fell in love with that person because that familiar spirit that was in your family jumped on that person, and you had that familiar spirit with your family, and you thought it was love, but it was not really love. It was the demon spirit from your family. You just missed your family that you had to cut off because they were Jerry Springer. And so the demon follows you around from childhood, the same demon that was in your bloodline. And so it's such a battle, it blows your mind. That's why they hang on for dear life, because they know. Once you cut them off, that demon's leaving. And they're just going to be like zombies walking around. And the only way they're going to survive is drink and drug. And they might even jump off a bridge or something. Because there's no love. They've experienced God's love in you. Think about this. They've experienced God's love in you. The demon in them repels it. They love it. And when you leave, they don't have it. They want you to obsess over them because they obsess over you. Like I said, they want you to be a copy of them. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, I've been through it. I've seen it. I can't even tell you some of the stuff that I've been through. That one lady, the police, I had to call the police. And right there where that window is, right there. She went in there and grabbed my shotgun. Said, he's got a shotgun. I said, yeah, I got a shotgun that's registered with the city for my protection. And the policeman told her to put the gun down. I told the police, I said, that gun is loaded. And he told her, he said, put the gun down. And he said it like 3 times. He said, if you don't put the gun down right now, I'm going to shoot you. Now look at that demon, that person down there on the corner. You don't think that person is demonized, standing on that corner right there, just out in the middle of nowhere? You don't think that person down there is demonized? I saw him walking earlier today with some girl. So you've got demons observing you, monitoring spirits, and you're like, what in the world? Long story short, I got a demon watching me right now in a human body, standing at the corner down there. I might have to call the police here in a second. They might be a hired agent. What was I talking about? Because I got a possible situation. Notice everybody's on holiday, so if it's a criminal, they're looking to see what house is empty. You know. They're looking to see what house is empty. I'm glad he put the sirens up there. What was I saying? I mean, I got a demon out here at the intersection just standing there, drugged out, drug head demon standing there on the corner. Oh, now he's walking this way. The dude's walking this way. And he's walking fast. Look at that. That's the same dude that had the red pants and the black shirt and a hoodie. Got ES on the back. Anyway, she was grabbing the shotgun, and the police said, drop that gun, drop that gun. Once I finish this video, don't think I ain't gonna call the police. Guy's sitting here, it's a holiday and nobody's at home. He said, I'm getting ready to shoot you. She put the gun down. She almost got killed because I told her to get out of my house. That wasn't her house. She thought she owned the house. This is how evil they are. They think that what is yours is theirs. And that includes your free will. It's so bad, they think the ones that are really bad, they want to control your free will. They want to control your emotions. They want to control your responses and your actions. They want to control you because it's a demon, Pharaoh, and from your bloodline, it jumped on them, that familiar spirit, you know. That dude's up to no good. And because he has the red under the black, I know what he is. He's a criminal. Because I've decoded this matrix. And let me end this. I'm going to call the police and say, hey, there's a strange dude here. Scoping out the properties. But when I called the police, I said she's losing it. And I was calm. And I backed up. Took 2 steps back. And the police grabbed her because if she came after me. And I already knew that would happen. Because I wanted him to see how aggressive she was. And that's when she ran in the other room and grabbed a shotgun. I thought, has she lost her ever-living mind? And yes, the demon took her over. She lost her mind. And how long ago was that? 12 years ago. And so that familiar spirit jumps on another one and they get obsessed. Not because they love you, because the demon, that familiar spirit. They're zombies because they're not born again. They're zombies, you know.